Mike Edwards was born in West London on May the 31st, 1948, to Frank and Lillian Edwards. He attended Grange Primary School in South Ealing, where him and his family lived. After passing his exams, Mike went on to study at Ealing Grammar School for Boys, and when attending Ealing Grammar, he found his love for music that would follow him for the rest of his life. Mike's father, who had played the cellist, encouraged his children to play music, but sadly died aged 14. Mike went on to claim that his teacher at Ealing Grammar, John Railton, was his inspiration and encouraged him to follow his passion and pushed him to play in the Ealing Youth Orchestra. After school had finished, Mike acquired a job at Midland Bank for a year. During this time, he realised he wanted to pursue a career in music and was able to pass the entry audition for the Royal Academy of Music to study the cello. Here he was able to develop his musical skill and was introduced to John Danksworth, who introduced him to playing jazz and big band music. He also received a LRAM in cello teaching, which is a professional diploma in music and a license to teach. Edward gained notoriety in the early months of 1972 when he joined the Electric Light Orchestra, ELO for short. ELO had a streak of top 20 hit singles on both sides of the Atlantic from 1972 through 1986, and their albums sold more than 50 million copies worldwide. Mike was known for his unusual cello playing, which included plucking the strings with an orange or a grapefruit, as well as his strange onstage traditions which would wow the crowd. In 1975, after recording 4 albums with ELO, Mike left the band to become a Buddhist, changing his name to Deva Pramada and earning a living as a cello teacher. This brings us to September the 3rd, 2010. It was around 12:30 on the Friday when Edwards was on the A381 road between Harbertonford and Halwell, near where he lived in Devon. It was believed he was working for a water delivery firm at the time. He was on his way to Kingsbridge in his white transit van when out of nowhere, disaster struck. As Edwards was driving along, a hay bale weighing 1,300 pounds burst through a thin wired fence and smashed into his cab after falling down a hill on the side of the road. After being hit, the van veered and collided with another smaller van approaching from the opposite direction. The driver of the smaller van survived and was unhurt, but tragically, Edwards died on impact. Long traffic jams resulted from the accident, and police redirected hundreds of vehicles through country roads. Police used images and YouTube footage to identify Mr. Edwards at the scene. 2 men, Russell Williams and Brian Burden, stood trial in 2011. Mr. Williams, according to the court, was a self-employed contractor who was baling cut grass for silage on Mr. Burden's farm on the day Mr. Edwards died. Williams said that he had left the 5-foot bale halfway down the field, against a wire fence. It was stationary when I moved away, and I did not see it move, he told the court. Mr. Edwards' death was ruled accidental by an inquest jury in Plymouth in March 2011. The 2 men were, however, charged with health and safety offences. David Edwards, Mike's brother, said after the inquest, "Michael's death was totally unnecessary and preventable." His friend stated he was simply the nicest guy and a brilliant musician. He taught the cello, and the incredible patience and courage, even with the slowest of the students, made him a great teacher. "I'm devastated. He was a really likeable person and such good fun." Mr. Edwards' funeral was held at Rattery Village Hall, and he was buried in a nearby woodland cemetery in September 2010.